What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to another solo leveling Arise video. Okay guys, I've been doing all of my hard modes, trying to complete this whole thing up. I'm going to be stuck at level 58 very shortly. I am level 57 right now, so I'm almost going to be able to get this done and then moving on with hard mode. Now with that being said, hard mode has been a blessing for these traces of shadows. You guys can see I have 101. I'm finally going to get it done. Now I want to talk a little bit about the last shadow for a reason, and then I'm going to talk about shadows in general. I know I did a preliminary video on who to choose first, and that still stands, but I do want to talk a little bit about the army and everything that it brings with it, okay? And I think there's some things that people need to get cleared up on this. I think it's important as well to kind of discuss the buffs that you want to use versus the buffs that you don't want to use, etc., okay? So if you click on the little icon there, the little question mark, it pops up this page, right? This is going to be the game guide, and the way this works, this is how it works. The bonus gain from the overall army level and total power applied to all shadow soldiers equally, just so you guys are aware of that. You guys can you can gain your shadow growth through strengthening using these little purple shadows. So the way it works, and a lot of people don't understand this, and I'm going to go through it because I think many people don't read this guide at all, and it's a pretty damn good guide, is the strength extracted from shadows. When you level up your army of shadows, all shadow soldiers are affected. So everybody gets the bonus. The power of your shadow soldiers can be increased through army of shadows growth and individual shadow growth. The individual one is right here. You can see how his rank is common. Tank's rank is common. You can increase that to make it even further. And right there, shadow extraction helps with that, right? You can also increase the total power of your shadows by leveling up your whole army and upgrading shadows individually. Each shadow can grow through promotions. And that's what I was talking about. This is the growth promotion right there, okay? Now you guys can see here, you can level up your army of shadows by consuming shadow energy. So there's various kinds of shadow energy. There's going to be blue tokens, these purple tokens. They all do different things, and they're all used at different points, okay? The maximum number of shades you can hold and your army's total power increase based on your shadow's level. So when upgrading a shadow soldier, your abyssal fragments, abyssal energy, abyssal essence, and gold, upgrading an individual soldier can increase your total army's power. So these are things you're going to need in order to do that, okay? So very important to remember that. Now, using shadows. When summoning your army of shadows, the number of shades used will be depending on the army of shadows promotion status and more. So the higher in promotion your shadow is, the more they're going to bring out in terms of soldiers. If you summon your army of shadows and successfully clear the stage, the number of shades used for that summon will be consumed. However, if you fail to clear it, you'll not deplete the resources. So keep that in mind. A lot of people were not aware that if you retry or if you just fail the mission, your shadows will remain. Okay, just keep that in mind. So you will not lose them. But if you do complete it, you lose them. So make sure, guys, what I like to do personally is I like to set them to manual. And the way you set it to manual is you click, there's an option to be auto for gameplay and auto for summoning shadows as well as your units. Put that to manual and everything is manual. Some people don't like it, some people do. I think it's better control. Just remember to summon your units and your shadows when you want to, okay? So when forming a team with your shadows, the power of the shadow assigned to the leader position first slot is applied to the entire team. That's the important one that a lot of people don't know, okay? You have to remember that the buff will be applied based on the leader. So it is very important to switch the shadows around, okay? So for example, if you're running a heavy HP based team, you want to have Tank as your main as your leader. If you run a heavy crit team, you want to have Igris. If you want to run a heavy attack team with Choi, etc., you want to run Blades. If you're running a defensive team with Back, for example, as your main, then you want to run Iron. So all of them will bring something in that leadership role, but you don't get every single buff. So up to 3 shadows can be assigned to your team, accompanied by the respective squads. When you summon your army, all of the shadows of their team will appear and join the battle. You can still form a team with your shadow soldiers, even if you have insufficient soldiers to summon. So just so you guys are aware of that, okay? So this is important. I think a lot of people didn't understand this, and I just want to bring this to your attention. So a couple things to note here, okay, about the game. So first off, as I mentioned here, leveling growth. So this here can be resourced from gates. They drop a lot, but you do need a lot as well too in order to get them. Now this will help you increase the army's total power, which also adds to your CP, and then also the max army capacity, okay? So this can go up to a total of 17 right now. This is quite a bit right there. And you can see here gold does make a difference. Gold is involved in everything, okay? Now if you click the actual unit itself, now don't make this mistake. I made this mistake early on, okay? I used my traces of shadow to level up my character instead, which was a bad idea. First thing you want to do, guys, with all your traces of shadow is just unlock everybody, okay? So the order I go in is I go Igris, Blades, Tank, and then Iron. Now, this is where you might want to reconsider tank and iron, okay? The reason behind the reconsideration, guys, is very simple, actually. If you go to the story mode, there's one part in the story you actually need him to 3-star it. Now, it's up to you if you care about that or not, but right over here, preliminary match iron, you have to use the iron shadows. If you don't have them, you got to go back eventually and get it. So this one, I will have to go back and get myself iron shadow being used in this fight. So remember, that might sway you with who you want to put on your team. Now, if you're constantly running an attack team, then it doesn't matter. Get iron just to get that 3-star. If you do run a HP based team, such as CO with Nam, for example, for Cerberus, then you actually want to get tank in order to just clear content, right? So it's up to you guys to get that bonus buff, right? Sorry, not tank. Iron's the one that gives you guys the HP. My apologies, guys. The other way around. So let's just arise. There you go. So you might want to consider iron over tank. I apologize if you're running CO and all those guys, because quite honestly, this bonus HP is actually really, really powerful for Cerberus, especially running CO and running Nam, for example, as HP based teams, right? So very, very good unit to have, and at the same time will help benefit you guys in the long run. But the best two are still going to be the following. Igris you obviously get. He gives you the critical hit rate. Blades gives you the attack power, right? The 3% attack power. And remember, based on who you put in the leader slot, that's the buff you're going to get. You don't get all the buffs. I think a lot of people had that misunderstanding that they thought if I have all of these units, all their passives will apply. That's not how it works. So if you go to team management here, right over here, this Shadow Authority, you guys can see a little skull or a little crown on there, right? This is the unit that you're going to get the buff for. So Shadow Authority is what it's called. So if I remove him, for example, and I put iron, well, everybody on my team is going to get 6%. Nobody's going to get this right over here. Okay, see the Shadow Authority is, I believe that's how it works. I'm pretty sure that's how it works. So there you guys go. So Shades use 200, Shades use 200, Shades use 300 because he's leveled up, okay? And his crit increase is actually up there. So you can see here, it even says all team members gain 3%. No matter what you do, that's what everyone's going to get. I'm positive that's how it works. I'm actually 100% sure that's how it works. So there you guys go. Make sure you prioritize your units with your shadows and who sits in the leader slot. Okay, I finally finished it. I finally was able to accomplish this. I finally got all of the shadows. Now I got to save up for Tusk when he drops, which should be fairly easy to do because there's a lot more hard mode stages to go through and get more of these shadow traces as well as gates. Now, one thing to note, gates do drop them. I already mentioned that. Gates have a lot of chances to drop them, but they come in very small quantities. So you definitely, guys, want to farm these hard modes when you're able to, because the amount the hard modes drop is way, way better than what the normal gates will drop, right? You get 5 at a time, and they happen pretty often, and I think they're going to continue happening probably going forward from stage 11. I think they might have even started at 9. Let's see. Yeah, I can't see what they drop here because I've already done it. But I think they started at 9, and they're probably going to keep going all the way to 15 until you're done the whole things. And at that point, you can either do one of two things: save up for Tusk when he comes out, or Fang, which I don't know which one they're going to call him. Maybe they'll be Fang or Tusk. Or you can start leveling up your shadows, giving them better buffs, more shadow armies to control, and just overall increasing your total CP. All right, guys, this is Payne. Hope you enjoyed the video. I'll talk to you guys in the next one. Take care.